This is Becky Roesler with Becky's Junk Journals, and today I'm going to show you the very first handmade book I ever put together. This is really, some might consider it an art journal. Some might consider it is a glue book. I don't know, it doesn't matter to me, but I made it 8 years ago with the Audubon Illustrated Handbook of American Birds. It's a black and white book. All the pictures in it are black and white. And mainly I practiced mixed media techniques in it and collage, because that's what I enjoy doing. And I used it as an idea book for when I did my large paintings. I did large collage paintings on canvas and board that I sold. And so this is where I played with ideas and color schemes and different textures to see what I'd like. And some of the pages never turned out, but they've got all kind of stuff in it. They've got jewelry glued in there, vintage jewelry. I used to be an antique dealer, and I specialized in vintage or antique jewelry and pottery and sewing supplies, sewing materials and supplies, notions, I guess. One problem I had with making this is I used Mod Podge as a sealer on top of my acrylic, because that's what I had always learned. You know, that's what I used when I was younger, when I did collages. And I just wasn't familiar with more modern day sealers. But anyway, this ruined the page that I did, because they stuck together. Mod Podge doesn't never dry completely. It dries tacky. And so the way that you repair this, if I wanted to continue working on this and repair it, what I would do is I would add some gesso on top of it, probably black gesso on top of it to go on top of that Mod Podge, and then I would start all over. And once I was finished, I would not put a sealer on it, I think I probably wouldn't put a sealer on it since it was going to be in book form. One thing that if I didn't want to start over and do the whole thing, I would touch up the places that were damaged, and then I've still got the Mod Podge on it. And then to fix the tackiness of the Mod Podge, I would cover it with a cold wax medium. This is expensive artist product that people use, and oil painting, they mix it with wax. But I'm going to try Johnson's paste wax, regular old floor wax, and it says it enriches and beautifies wood, metal, leather, and plastic. So I think this is the cheap way to go, and just use a little bit and buff it in on the 2 pages, and then they won't stick together anymore. So if you have Mod Podge over the top of your book pages when you've been doing a collage or whatever, this is what you want, just a tiny little bit of paste wax on a soft cloth, and buff over it, and it'll take that tackiness from the Mod Podge out. But I put all kinds of stuff in this. There's a bluebird feather that I got out of my yard. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this book yet. Maybe y'all can help me. Some of the pages, I really love parts of the pages, and I'd like to use them for cards and tags when making my junk journals now. Like, see, I've got this vintage button in there. That is an old button, probably from the 1920s. This is one of my favorite pages. Now, this book was in black and white, and so, like this page right here, I just painted the background page, and then did some collaging over it. some of these pages I really like just the way they are, and I thought about deconstructing this book and using the pages. The way I made this is I tore about half the pages out of the book, and then I took 3 or 4 of the remaining pages and glued those 3 or 4 pages together to make a more sturdy background to hold up to all these mixed media techniques I was trying out. But I wanted y'all to see examples of way you can make background pages by using book pages, black and white book pages. Like this is the bird that was originally on there. This is the bird that was originally on there, and I just put stuff around it. Another one of those really old buttons. This was I was playing with this texture and wanted to see what I could do with that texture from that webbing. This is one of my favorite finished ones. As a child of the 60s, growing up, this is what the color scheme was like. This book had a few pages that were color, but very few. So this is one that I started and never finished. This one I considered finished, and it was just mostly all about collage. There was no drawing, and all the birds on there are the original page. And then I just collaged the green and black over it. Blue and green. How much is too much or too little? This is the second time I filmed this, so I hope you guys are seeing all of it. The first time you could only see the top half, so I hope you're getting in. This is all getting in. Here's another one that I considered finished. Lots of collage. And I just used big pieces of scrapbook paper and magazine cutouts. This is a color scheme that I should have chosen either the pink or the green to be dominant. And what I did in this one that was wrong, and I learned, I learned from it. I learned that you need that equal parts of two colors, having equal parts does not cut it. It would have been much better if I'd had the green as the dominant color and the pink as an accent, or vice versa. The pink is the dominant color and green is only an accent. It would have looked much better, but I did equal parts and I learned from it. So this is one that I considered finished. Another feather in there. Fabric terry cloth strips off an old towel. More antique vintage buttons. Playing cards. This is one that was supposed to be an interactive element, but there again I used Mod Podge and the pages stuck together. I was finally able to get it unstuck today, and I think because this little piece was in there, but it came up and it didn't damage anything underneath it, so I was glad. But I like this one. I don't know, I thought about taking these things out and use them as book covers, but then I would have to choose only part of the page and I would miss the background of it. See this, I just colored the black and white with colored pencil. More vintage jewelry. Practicing art journaling is what you want it to be, is what one of these things said. Main ingredient is creative play. It is as little or as much as you care to put into it. A layout can have a theme or a messy or not. It's an artistic method of brainstorming. Much like a laboratory experiment, there are no rules. Art journaling is all about layers and creating the appearance of depth. It's done when you quit playing with it. Fearlessly trying new techniques out, and if you don't like what you get, you can always paint over it and start again. Yay! You can free yourself to make happy accidents. There is no right or wrong way, only your way. So this is how I got started in journaling. And this was an altered book, is what you would consider this as an altered book. I like the colors in this one. I think I have this stencil. I don't know where it is, but I think I have it. How else would have I got it on there? I'm going to find that. I like that stencil. This one's all about patterns, and I use sewing patterns tissue paper on it. I thought I was so funny when I did that. This is a pen, a button pen, a Batman pen. Must have been when a Batman movie came out. My husband got it. This is the first time I ever put trim along the edges of my book pages. I like that pink trim. I really like the colors in this one. I've been into pink and black lately. I know a lot of other people have been liking the pink and black stuff I've been posting on Facebook and Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. Well, I'm under just my name. I don't have a page on Facebook. But on Instagram, I'm Becky's Junk Journals. And on YouTube, I'm Becky's Junk Journals. So you can find me there. As we're getting towards the back, you'll find more pages that are incomplete. But I like where I was going with this page. Woo, this one's happy. I made the pink dominant in this one. See, I learned my lesson. And I could have used less green. I could have used more of the pinks and magentas to be dominant. It's almost too much teal color in there. Brad, that was a Brad that I had. But see where it stuck to get to the page over here, and this button's got paper glued onto it, which I could probably repair. So what do you think? Should I deconstruct this book and turn it into cards or journal covers or something? Look at that. I can take these off. I don't know. What do you think I should do with this thing? Should I take some of the pages out and call it done and just finish it up and wax it? What should I do? I don't know. I wanted to show you this. This is the first time I did a flip up. It was made with a tissue box as a frame. The top of a tissue box and the side flaps as a frame. It was one of those square tissue boxes. This is my first flip out that I ever made. And I noticed that I glued that as part of a tissue box also. And I glued it in upside down. Hey, this is my workbook, my try book. This is what the pages looked like when I first prepped them. I took a little bit of gesso and a little bit of acrylic color, ink or paint, and then just painted out on top of the pages to give it a base. It must have had some, it's very thin because you can still see the writing and the birds that were on this page. And then you can do this with your junk journal pages or your art journal pages as a background and then start working from there. And that's how I get started. This one I just decided to glue a bunch of stuff to it without rhyme or reason. I haven't finished it, but I probably come in with paint on top of this to make it all go together. This is commemorating with Big Tex up at the Texas State Fair. Our big giant statue of Big Tex burnt. He burnt and they had to build a new Big Tex. That was quite a few years ago. See? All right, here's another page that I tried. I used bubble wrap and some ink and stamped on it to see how I liked it. But I put a light coat of gesso on it first. Very light coat mixed with matte medium probably. See, they're all prepped and they're not done. This one is probably as done as I'll get it. Look, there's a piece of vintage jewelry that is probably worth something. oh well, I liked it and I wanted it in there, so it's there. That's another thing when these are all prepped to work on. Here's one that I don't normally work in neutrals, but this one had the red on it, so I wanted to try neutral with beige with red and see how I liked it. And it's nice. I like it. And this is one that I could easily use as a book cover. It'd be fun. But I would have to cut it down. So these are all unfinished. They're just started or prepped when I quit working in it. So this is my book for trying techniques, and you could do one for yourself and try out different mixed media techniques before you put it in your junk journal. You could try it. You could make masterboards like any of these pages and then cut them up for use in your journals. I hope you got something out of this one that you can use in your own creative projects. My name's Becky Roesler, and I'm at Becky's Junk Journals. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Have a great day.